Okay.
Hi. We've been sent loads of questions.
We have.
And we've been compiling them, so we're now going to go through them.
Yep.
And answer them as quickly as we can without waffling too much.
Because waffling is what we do.
Yeah, we do. We're a bit loquacious.
We are a bit loquacious.
Anyway, question number one.
I'm going to read them all out and
Okay.
you answer them.
All right.
First question. What gave you the idea for I'm Too Sexy?
Richard gave us the idea for I'm Too Sexy because we were working on another song that had a bass line going da 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 da, and during a break in a very hot basement studio, Richard was prancing about. I could hear the bass line, took his shirt off and sang I'm Too Sexy for my shirt.
I was prancing.
Well, I'm sure you were.
Probably.
So basically, it was a mix of
Another track,
Richard's idea, and then we all co-wrote it.
And avert sexuality.
Yeah, there you go. Next question.
Next question. Does Richard, this is obviously directed to me, does Richard remember snogging fans instead of giving autographs?
We've all done that.
I've never done that.
I've done that.
Have you?
Absolutely.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, if they're pretty.
No.
Damn straight.
Anyway, don't remember that.
I do. Okay.
What's your favourite food?
Chili con carne, I like a lot, particularly my wife's chili con carne.
Yeah.
Generally pasta.
Yep.
And I do like tuna steak.
Okay, and I agree with all that. Curry would be my other choice.
Okay.
But it tends to be a bit fattening because you have to have beer with it rather than...
Yeah, I can't drink curry. In fact, I can't drink chili con carne. Eat curry or eat chili con carne without having a beer, which is the downside.
Okay, next question. Would you ever consider being part of a Let's Rock concert with other 80s and 90s artists? Have you ever been asked to do it? What do you think makes you awake when so many others are not? So that's two questions, really.
That's two questions. First of all, we have done retro shows before, or
Yep.
heritage. We did Rewind. We've done a few abroad,
Yep.
particularly Scandinavia and Canada.
Yep.
It would depend on the dates, the other artists, the money.
Money.
That's money.
Money.
So that, also some promoters are more flexible about the songs you play than others. Obviously, people want to hear the hits, but we like to throw some surprises in. And some promoters on the retro shows aren't very keen on that.
Don't like it.
They're not mad about that.
And even, actually, they don't even like you changing the hits.
No, they don't.
If you want to do a different
No,
arrangement.
so
or,
there's a few criteria going on there. The other question to this was, what do you think makes you...
Awake.
Well, I don't know.
Independent, actually.
Yeah, being independent. We've never signed a major record deal. We rarely have management. We do have a PR girl that we work with, and publishers, but we are very independent. We always have been. I'm Too Sexy was a hit, and it wasn't signed to any record company. It was a hit without being signed off.
I'm going to speak.
Okay, can we just say something?
Yes, go
and I think that in the sense of independence has made us speak out. I think lots of other artists agree with us, but they don't have the balls, courage,
whatever,
conviction. I don't know what you want to call it, but they've chosen not to. That's their decision. Not something I agree with, but it's up to them.
Also, we wouldn't have recorded I'm Too Sexy if we'd been signed to a major.
No, we don't care much.
A major label would never have released it.
No, we don't really care what other people think.
That's why we did it.
And which is why we've had a lot of success, a lot of failures. Success, failures, goes up and down quite a lot. Our career.
Successes tend to be mine.
Yes,
and
yes.
Failures do.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, that was the first four questions.
First question.
Okay.
First four questions.
Okay, this question is, when did you first decide to create a band and where were you?
We were probably in East Grinstead, where we grew up. We were probably in our house with our mum and dad. Rich and I started working with some blokes we'd met through other musicians. We were probably about 15, 16 maybe.
Yeah.
And the guitar player was George Brinkhurst. Rich was playing bass and singing. And can't remember who the drummer is.
You don't really decide to create a band.
No,
it just kind of happens.
Get on with it.
Yeah, you just kind of get on with it.
First time we had a band we got paid was 1978 on our first UK tour. That's with Suicide, and when we did shows with Joy Division.
Next question. When will you start a full tour with new and old stuff in Germany or Europe? Any plans for it?
Well, we're talking to our agent at the moment.
We are.
Travelling has become a major issue. Flight cancellations and problems, even down to lots of tour companies have sold their buses. So getting buses is actually quite a problem now. So we would love to do that, and we are looking at doing some stuff next year. But currently, there's nothing actually in the diary. But we do expect to be doing shows in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's mentioned to us doing some clubs on the west coast of America. We can't do that because
we aren't vaccinated.
We're not vaccinated, so and we're not going to get vaccinated just to do a tour.
No,
so
that's our position on that. Anyway.
Okay, next question. Which comedy show made you laugh the most? I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Only Fools and Horses, and Monty Python.
Okay, mine would be 40 Towers, I think.
Oh, 40 Towers, not
40.
Monty Python. 40
Towers.
40 Towers and Only Fools and Horses. Yeah.
If you could travel to the future, which 3 books would you take? This is a good question, I think.
Yeah, I would take The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I would take 3 Men in a Boat, and I would probably take Vile Bodies by Evelyn Waugh.
Okay, I would probably take, let me just think. Yeah, I think Short Stories by Somerset Maugham.
Right.
I'd take any one of the books with Martin Beck, the Martin Beck police procedural books, which were written in the 60s. And I think I might take a book that I haven't actually read yet, but a book about comparing religions of various kinds. Rather than taking the Bible or the Quran or anything else, I'd take a book that gives you information about all.
Plus the Exits of London.
Plus the Exits of London, yeah. Okay, this is the next 4. Who had the most profound, lasting...
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, go on.
I'm in charge here. So
Sorry.
Yes. Back off. Who had the most profound, long-lasting effect on your life?
Mum and Dad.
Yeah, Mum and Dad, definitely.
Easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And my partner, Stuart.
Yeah, Mrs. Partner.
My partner.
Yeah, and in terms of...
in terms of artists, I don't think...
Yeah, artists I wouldn't really include. Just in terms of the way morality and the way we are, I'd have to say Mum and Dad.
Yeah. Okay, this is a strange question. Last cones, ice cream cones, okay. Only 2 choices. Tutti Frutti or Rum and Raisin?
Rum and Raisin.
Oh, mine would be Tutti Frutti. There you go. Wings or fins as a superpower?
Wings.
Wings. We both agree on that. The kindest person that has ever influenced you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Kindest.
We had a guy called Peter Gross.
Yes, yeah.
We mentioned in our book.
Yep.
He was very kind with his time.
Yep.
We get lots of kind messages from people online, and they influence to the point that it's encouraging to know that we aren't just on our own. Again, my dad was very kind.
Yeah, both Mum and Dad were.
My wife is very kind.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably about.
That's probably about it. Yeah. This is the next batch of 4 questions. First question is, what is your favourite era?
Okay.
Left era or me right era?
For me, I'd say the 1970s, fraught with industrial problems and inequality, and not that much different than now. But in terms of music, I think in terms of excitement, in terms of artistic growth in the UK, I'd say the 70s, because it had punk, it had glam rock, electronica, disco, new wave, post wave. It was, the arena rock bands.
Yeah.
It had a lot of stuff going on in the 70s. Really progressive decade, in my opinion.
What's your favourite movie genre?
Horror, psychological thriller.
Mine would be horror and crime.
Okay.
Yeah. Favourite classic motor? That's easy for me to say.
Ooh, I would go probably for a Porsche 911.
Right.
Probably Porsche 911,
Okay.
I think, or maybe an E-Type Jag. I think I'd go for Porsche 911.
Okay, mine would be an E-Type.
Okay.
Okay. What was it like being on Top of the Pops back in the early 90s?
Boring.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah.
It was
a bit boring, really.
because you used to get there at 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, not every artist had to, but we did. And quite often you're there for 7 or 8 hours in a horrible little room. And you were waiting to go off show to mime for 3 minutes. So it's quite boring. The people at the BBC were lovely. It was exciting from the point of view.